Hello, Black Hawk Cougars. Mrs. Sutliff here. I want to show you how to cut, and then when we're done cutting, we will trace a little to work on our pajama Christmas art project. So the first thing I want to talk about is that, as you can see here, I've got everything that I should have from videos that are in Pixie, except for one thing. I decided to only make one sock. And the reason why I did that was I didn't know if I could make another sock that looked exactly the same. And it made me a little nervous trying to make a second sock. So what I am going to do instead of making a video is I'm going to cut this out and then my first sock to trace a second sock. So I'm going to start by cutting out the sock. I give you half sheets to do your socks. So you should have some space on the other half of your paper, okay? When you do your sock, hopefully you don't put it right in the middle and then you have to figure out how to trace your second sock. So I'm just gonna lay it down and trace. So then I can cut out my second sock and they will be exactly the same. Okay, so there's my two socks. This needs to go in the garbage. Okay, so when you finish the hand video, you have one hand. That's all she shows you how to do. Okay, so same thing I just did with my sock. I can cut out my hand and then put it down on the rest of the paper that I have and trace it, make another hand, okay? And I decided to make a hand with an arm because I wanted short sleeve pajamas. So I'm just gonna cut this out. When I cut out, I'm just gonna go across the fingers like this first. And then I'll go back and fix my fingers. Now I'm gonna actually go around the thumb. While you are cutting, see what I'm doing? I'm trying to keep my scissors pointing straight ahead, and I'm not actually doing this with my scissors. I'm moving this hand to cut, and I'm making tiny cuts. Okay, I don't want to cut the whole length of my scissors. I want to just do tiny little cuts. cutting out is going to be very important. If you don't cut it out nicely, it doesn't matter how well you drew it, your finished product won't look very nice because you didn't cut it out carefully. So keep that in mind. Okay. So now, hopefully you have enough paper left that you can lay this down, whichever way you can lay it down, to trace the second one. Whoops. So I bumped it. Maybe you can't see this very well. But I bumped it. And then I have to erase it. Just right there where I made the mistake. And then I'm going to put what I was tracing back down and line it up as good as I can with the pencil that's already there. And then I'm just going to keep going. When you are tracing, it's really important that you keep what you're tracing held down really good so that your tracing turns out good. I hope you're really watching on cutting tiny, tiny little cuts. And my scissors are staying pointed forward. And I am moving the paper with my other hand. I decided to cut out the fingers as I'm cutting it this first time. I thought that would be better. Okay, this needs to go in the garbage, and I actually have little bits of paper. I have these little bits that I need to get into the garbage too. Okay, so now I have two hands. They're identical, but you can actually flip one of them. And then you will have to go back and draw the fingers. And I have to put this little swoosh. Okay. And that looks pretty good. So I'm going to call that done. Okay, so I'm going to do my shirt next and cut out my shirt. Oh, I almost forgot something. Take your arms and put them on your shirt. And make sure that the sleeves on your shirt are going to cover your arms. If you can see this closely here, there's the width of my arm. And my sleeve is not wide enough. Okay, my sleeve is not wide enough. I have to erase my sleeve down here and make it wider. All right. right, now I'm going to put it on again, and you can see my sleeve is right here and right here, and that's the width of my arm. It fits now. Okay, very important that before you cut out your shirt, you make sure that it is wide enough. And if it's not, you turn your paper over and you draw a new shirt. Okay, keeping in mind how big you made your arms. Now, if you only have hands, you'll just want to take your hand and put it down at the bottom of your sleeve and make sure that your sleeve is wide enough down at the bottom. Okay? If your hands are wider than your sleeve, how will that look? That won't work very well, will it? So make sure before you do any cutting that you check the width of your sleeve with what you drew for your hands or your arms. And now I'm ready to cut this out. Okay, something else. While I'm getting up here to the top of my shirt, I should check my head and see how it's going to match up. I can see here, maybe it's hard for you to see. Line is pretty wide. So I just wanted to notice that. Using tiny, tiny little cuts. Keeping your scissors facing forward. Rotating your paper with your other hand. That is how you cut. Okay, this goes in the bandage right away. Okay, so here's my cutout shirt. Before I cut out my pants, I'm going to bring my shirt and I'm going to see, is my shirt wider than the pants I drew? Why would I want my shirt to be wider than my pants? It doesn't need to be much wider, but if your pants and your shirt are not very close to the same width, like this is pretty good. This is pretty good. I've got the width of my shirt just a little bit wider than my pants, and that's what I want, because if it looks like I'm really skinny up here and then I get wider at my pants, will that look very good? So before you cut out your pants, get your shirt next to it and ask yourself, should I redraw my pants? And if the answer is yes, then you turn your paper over and you draw your pants again on the other side. And while you're drawing it, you can even get your shirt up here and you can draw your pants with the shirt right here so that you make sure it's the same width. And then you can make sure that your pants are long enough. Really, if your face is even a little, as far as how big it is, you're going to need the whole entire length of the paper to make your pants long enough so that you don't look like you have a giant head and short little legs. You don't want that to happen. All right, I am ready to cut out my pants now.